Kia ora, welcome back to another episode of Sharpen Up. The Black Ferns squad for the July series was named today, and we're lucky enough to be joined by Stacey Waaka. Sis, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, paki to you. I'd love to know how you're feeling with everything that you've achieved throughout your career when you do get named, I guess, again.
Yeah, thanks, sis. It's always a privilege and an honour to put on the black jersey and to be back here in the team. So many fresh, young faces, and it makes me feel a little bit old, to be honest. But hey, I still, do my mahi, come in here. There's a lot more content to learn, but I'm loving it. It's real cool. Every time I come back in, I feel like I'm a new face again because, being missing, I will catch up on everything. But so far, so good from the last couple of camps.
And now you guys play this Saturday up in Whangare, but am I right in saying it's a trial match against each other?
Yeah, it is.
And so what's the whakaaro? How's everyone feeling about that, going against each other?
Well, it's interesting because we obviously have our squad and there's going to be two teams. One plays the first half, one plays the second half against the rest of the contracted group who unfortunately missed out. So they've got nothing to lose. They're coming at us because they want our spots for this World Cup. And that's cool. I think the competition and the challenge with one another is probably the best thing for us moving forward. Best players in the country all going against one another for a full game. And before the Māori ABs, how cool, what a cool experience for everyone to be there and play that in that double header.
Yeah, very exciting.
Kia ora sis, e mihi ana ki a koe. I just got a bit of a pātai. I remember seeing a few months back that you were able to go back to the Tūhoe Ahure, I think it was,
Yes.
to perform. And just wanted to know, how was that experience for you, and why is that important to yourself as an athlete?
Yeah, I think for me, being Māori is an honour. Being Tūhoe is cool. It's a very special bunch of people down there in Ruatoki. But I love it. I just love my community. I love connecting back to my whānau back home, or the people who I grew up with, essentially. And it's pretty cliche, but you don't get where you are without them. So I know the hundreds of referrals that they brought for me, the times they took me to trainings and whatnot. I love going back and connecting with them. It makes me feel real honoured and proud because it's taken so many people. And to go back to an event like the Ahure, it's special because now I see all these young tamariki performing, playing sport, and I'm like, yes, you can do it. You can do big things, and it all starts there. That's where it started for me. So if I can help be an inspiration in one little way, then yeah, I'm pretty proud. And that's one thing I always aspire to be, is someone who comes from a small town but has made it big and continues to strive for big things. It's definitely not the end, and I'm excited to trial for another World Cup.
Absolutely. Drew, I think that leads into something you want to know, isn't it?
I was going to say, hey, tēnā koe sis, and again, I'll just on the back of the mihi, ngā mihi for making the World Cup squad again. Just in that upbringing when you're younger, there's that beef and lamb ad that there's a little kōtiro not being included into the boys rugby game. Was that because I played a bit of footy with your brother, Bodine Waaka?
Who?
But does that ad have a bit of relevance to your upbringing? Were you the little kōtiro not allowed to play with your older brothers or cousins, or were you just the one that just get out of my way?
Or the only kōtiro to play with them?
Yeah.
Proper competitions, yeah, it's a little bit gutting, but look, that never stopped me in the backyard or, in the lounge at home. Still tried everything. I used to get smashed all the time, but I never gave up. I think it gave me resilience and gave me that competitive edge to just keep going. And yeah, I think that's the way it is now. There's still those kids running around in the backyard playing footy against your cousins, and I love seeing it when I go home and see my nephews and nieces running it straight at each other, just having fun. At the end of the day, there's always tears and there's always, sore losers, but that's just a part of it. I suppose you grow up and you be better for it. So yeah, I'm grateful that I grew up as the youngest sibling of 4, lots of cousins down the road, and I had that upbringing.
In saying that, could you just put in a good word to beef and lamb for our just to sponsor us.
We need some podcast sponsors.
I'm grateful I just got another year, so I'm stoked.
Oh, there we go.
I'm grateful. Beef and lamb has been my saviour.
Just to jump in there, sis, I know we can't make you late. You'll be running the Waiata practice soon, and we were lucky to have your whanauna, Māori Black, and there's been a lot of talent that's come out of Tūhoi, the likes of Ngārohi and the Seven setup too. And what's the secret? What's the secret recipe in the whārua?
Dad reckons it's the water. It's ohine matarua awa. But, I think there's so many talented people back there, and we watched our aunties, uncles, cousins growing up. But for me, it's the ones who truly have that support and who truly have the passion and bravery to actually move out of a small town and try and crack it in the bigger towns, because we don't need the resources. It's so you're so far away from everyone, but if you can be brave and take that leap of faith and doing that and moving out and try and find new things and create your opportunities, I think that's one thing we all did. We didn't go to university back there because there's none. You have to kind of branch out at school. So I'm grateful that we did that. It's always hard leaving home. I love going back. It's the most satisfying feeling. You're like breath of fresh air, but it does, you have to take that opportunity sometimes. And I suppose that's what we did. But at the same time, being a kid growing up with only the horses, cows, the bush, hunting, doing all that, it's quite cool. It keeps you grounded, humbled, and blessed in so many other ways that other kids who don't grow up in small towns get.
So what was that like for you making that decision? We've spoken about it on the podcast. Api was one of them when he was younger who had to do it. But what is it like when you have this opportunity and you do have to make that decision to leave your whānau?
It was scary, and for me, the one thing I've always grown up with is mum and dad always telling me, if you want to make it big in life, you just have to jump at every opportunity you get and just enjoy it. As long as you enjoy it, that's the most important thing. So moving away from home, they actually come and supported me for a couple of years when I moved to Hamilton. Super scary, but I'm a very resilient, tough. I love jumping out of my comfort zone, so I was quite independent in that sense, and I just wanted to make it, whatever sport it was, or going to university and getting a degree. I wanted to be the one in my whānau to kind of crack it on the big stage, so I'm pretty grateful that I took that leap of faith.
Absolutely. Sis, I also want to know how your whare is going, because there's a bit of Bob the Build-up, say?
Honestly, to be honest, I haven't been doing much. I just paid people to come in. I'm just telling them what to do. But it's holy moly. I never thought I'd first get my dream home this early. And then you do 1 or 2 rooms and you're like, let's just do the whole whare, eh? So,
absolutely.
Plenty more to do. We've got our chickens now, our cows, my dogs, sheep. Probably horses are next for the girls, so we can, have a little tiki tour down the road on our hoiho. But it's tough, and I'm a real impatient person. I have no patience whatsoever. So I'm trying to do everything on the go. I've had to try and find the balance of rest, work, because I just want it all done at the click of a finger.
No inspiration from Sheree and Gillies?
Oh, well, they're a little bit more funny than I am. I kind of just get it done.
But sis, also, how do you find the time to balance doing all of that, your home life with your whānau, with the girls, but then also be a professional athlete?
It's tough. Some days I'm just like, I can't even play with them because I'm like, I'm so sorry, I've had a hard day. But they understand that, I'm never always home or have those hard days. And I'm a very planned and organised person. So as long as I try and, fulfill my cup in those different areas when I can, then that's the thing. And I'm always busy, but it's kind of good. I need to be busy. I'm not a person who can just sit there and watch the rain. I need to be doing something, planning or whatever for the next day. So as long as I'm enjoying it, then I just kind of get through it, and I have to be planned about it.
And then for you, How do you take on it, I guess, as a responsibility? Because you said you are a representation to all the little kōrero and tamariki, but especially when you've got two of them in your house and they're seeing what they can achieve if they do follow their dreams.
Yeah. I think the one thing I have kind of said to them is, as long as you're yourself, like don't try and be someone else, because social media has a massive influence on the kids these days. And I keep telling them, they're like, oh, why are you always smiling, or why are you called the smiling assassin? And I'm like, well, I'm just kind of being me, and if you're being you, then big things come your way. You just showcase your true self to everyone. That's kind of like the main part. Don't try to be fake, you're not going to get very far. So it's cool for the girls to show that I am human, I make mistakes, I'm not perfect, and they always point that out. Like, no, that's not how you do it, or kind of moan at me because I'm wrong, and I'm like, yes, okay, it's all good. I'm not this, star that everyone thinks I am. I'm just me, So yeah, being me, being authentic, knowing that no one's ever perfect, but yeah, just do you.
Well, mihi ana kia koe, we thank you for your time. Before we let you go, though, because you've got to go and run wire to practice, do you, for the Black Ferns, is it?
Yes, yeah, we've got a few wata. We've got a, what would you call it, pohiri on Thursday in Whangarei, so we've got to get the girls prepped and ready. We are about playing good rugby, but man, when we wata and when we haka, we've got to be on. So practice is key.
Absolutely. Well, sis, we thank you for your time. We wish you all the very best and the rest of the squad for this weekend, but also the upcoming test against Australia, which is down in Wellington on July 12th. But thank you for your time, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, team. Yep, definitely. Love the kōrero. Catch up soon.
Ka kite.
Kia ora, ka kite.
Ngā mihi.
All right. Well, from one guest to... not another guest, because he's here. He's a host of the show. Pity is joining us.
Happy New Year, brother.
Hey, coach. Like that, is it?
It's not, bro. We're always happy to see you.
It's been 5 weeks, Keith.
Hey. Look, just from one charity to another. They have to take it over now, Kill.
I know you're busy, bro. I know you're busy.
Well, first of all, bro, how have you been?
Good, busy, but good. We just had our quadrangular tournament last week, the 99th, between us, Wellington College, Nelson, Christ and Whanganui.
Saw that.
And then got back and had to play a game on Saturday, and then left Wellington at stupid o'clock at 2 a.m. to drive to Taranaki to watch my daughter's netball tournament.
Nice. And while we have you, bro, we have to say a big shout out to your friends at Beard Brothers, who've been a big sponsor on our show and helping us out, and they're doing their giveaway. So I'm sure that you get some of the goodies from them, don't you?
Oh yeah, like I said, I love the pork and cress snags, the old boil up snag. It's pretty good.
We might have to try some up here in Tamaki. What do you
Still
reckon?
waiting for the invite, Kel.
It's coming.
What did you get up to for matariki with the whānau anyway, bro?
What did we do? We didn't really do too much. One of our boys had sort of passed away the week before, so it was sort of, part of it is obviously remembering those that have passed, so it was quite special. And then just getting FOMO, watching my old mate over there trying to take over, even though he's a crazy man.
The super sub, we
He's
call
our
him, Kel.
super sub.
Not trying to take over. Hey. I watched your boys. How are the boys feeling? I watched that game. Just went down,
Yeah, they were a bit,
Nelson.
they were a bit gutted, because
Yeah.
they obviously didn't play to the standard or style of footy that we wanted to play.
Yeah.
And so by them sort of playing rugby in the wrong parts of the field, but not only that, between the two 15s, when we always told them to make sure that they stretch right to the touch line, just so that our boys can get themselves in the right position so that we can actually play our footy. Obviously, got to rocket up the molly at half time, and then all of a sudden the boys wanted to play, but we were proud of them. Like, it wasn't easy to go down there and get a win. Like we played all right on day one against Christ, and then on Thursday, day 2 in the final, we did speak to the boys about the pressure that's going to be coming from Nelson, because they would obviously they watched our game on Tuesday. So it was tough, but proud we had to back it up again on Saturday against Waitanapa College, and the boys did pretty mean to walk away. There's just a few boys getting a bit more wee now, the old flu and bloody everything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we just had Stacey Waaka on. We're talking about the Black Ferns playing this weekend up in Whangarei. And it's Black Ferns v Black Ferns 15, which I think is very interesting. And she said, even though they're all part of the squad and the wider squad, they get to go up against each other. So my partai for all of us is, who are you looking forward to watching go head-to-head? Or if you could pick 2 teammates from any sport, who would you like to see go at each other? If you think about it, or former teammates who never really got that chance. I liked when the Warriors played the Penrith Panthers last week, and James Fisher-Harris for the first time went up against Moses Leota, his Bash brother. And, they won 4 premierships together, the duo in the middle, and then all of a sudden, for the first time, they got to go at each other. And they didn't shy away from it. They were just running at each other. So I really enjoyed that, and I think it'll be interesting to watch the Black Ferns do that this weekend, especially Stacey said, they're playing against players who want their position and who are pushing for that World Cup, which just, I think, raises that level. So if you guys can think of any that you'd like to see in any sport go up against each other?
In that game,
yes.
I'd like to see anyone just try and take Portia.
Yeah.
Like, obviously she'll be their number one choice winger, but like you said, there's girls that will be going up against them that want to go to the World Cup. So it'll be interesting to see, actually right across the board, be interesting to see who steps up to be like, I want your spot, I'm coming.
And like she said, a lot of them, they've got nothing to lose, right? So that'll be interesting.
I don't know, Pal, you were playing when they had probables and possibles, eh, cuz?
Nah, that's before my time. Nah. I was lucky enough didn't have to do. I would have liked to, just so that you can, obviously, when you play Super or even NPC against boys that are in contention, you always try and play the best footy that you can. Well, you try and do that week in, week out, but when you're going up against someone that potentially could be number one. You're trying to take that title and that mantle to be the number one. So, I never really had that chance unless it was during Super and or NPC. But I mean, anyone that's going to be matched up with Caitlin, she's quite deceiving, and she doesn't look like she's actually running pretty quick. But once she sort of beats the defenders, it's kind of like she goes through. So. Be good to see how she goes, and then whoever's matched up against Rua, because she can actually play 10 or 12 and still run the cutter, and so having that dynamic of her either playing on the outside of you at 12, and 12, or actually her running the cutter at 10. So it's not going to be easy. So you'll be wanting to make sure you put your best foot forward.
Yeah. Uppy?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the winger battle, the Stacey's, and Portia. That'll be a good battle. And our first guest, Brax.
Yes, I want to see this.
To see how she goes.
Or just if anyone can stop her, because sometimes she seems unstoppable, and I wonder if they have her number, knowing her that well and being in camp with her. Yeah,
well, I'm thinking it's quite a hard situation. Like as you two as coaches now, with your coaching portai hat on, these girls obviously train together, play together, they have the same moves. What are you really looking for as a coach in these sort of matches? Because I'm the same. I can only think back to under 11s and under 13s, Manawa 2, and there was a stacked team and there was a not stacked team. And
the A's and B's.
You just got a dong, It'd be interesting to see how they play this. Are they going to stack a team, or are they going to not stack a team? What are you looking for, Coach Joe?
Generally they'll they could possibly match up the ones that they are like 50-50 on. Like they could have a stacked back line with a not so stacked forward pack, and then a stacked forward pack with not so. But if I was coaching, what I'd be looking for is not really the stuff that we'll be training, because those are givens. Like you do the moves, everyone should know them. It's the stuff that you do off the ball that, you know. So like Portia or Caitlin, for example, are they in? Have they put themselves in a spot where, you know, where they can be a threat, or are they just gonna stay on the wing and wait for the ball? Like those are the stuff I would be looking for. Because again, all the set piece moves and stuff those are givens for teams. Yeah.
Pity for you?
It's a bit of an interesting one. I guess like on the backside of it, it'll just be how well your 9 and your 10 can function together, and which ones do better out of the two. And then not only that, like seeing the work of your midfield. Obviously, your midfielders have got certain roles to play. Obviously, one's either smash and bash, while the other one's actually got to do a bit of footwork, or you know, seeing how skillful they are in those two roles as well. And then obviously your back three, in terms of their work rate, like I always use Zach Guilford as an example, as one of the and Dougie Hallett as one of the best wingers in the world, because they actually come off their wing and go look for mahi.
Yeah.
You find them on the wrong side of the field sometimes, doing extra mahi, and then by the time the ball comes back to their actual wing, they're actually back there. They've worked hard to get back over to their side of the field. So little things like that around work ethic, especially if there's like broken play. It's another one, like where the girls are just going to walk or jog. So it's just watching if they bust us to get back and how much it means, and to, you know, get back into position, not conceive a penalty. You just want to make sure you get back, put your best foot forward. If you're tired, you've got to find an extra way to until that next break, so that you can actually get a rest. But it's just the little things really that you always try and look for. I guess, you know, scrummaging's a huge one. Seeing who gets the better out of the two scrums, the front row, the techniques, what they do. I only know this because obviously one of my best mates is a ex-frickin' prop in the new Tialata, but like, you know, the dark arts, listening to him teach our boys and some of the stuff that they do, so it's actually cool to listen to that. And then I guess, you know, as a 7, you want an out-and-out feature, someone that's actually going to slow a breakdown or actually get the ball back for you. So that battle there is probably one of the biggest ones. And then, you know, with your other two loose forwards, picking and choosing when they're going to actually be a pain in the ass and carrying through a brick wall, or, you know, getting off the line and making big hits. So there's a lot of things to consider. I guess, you know, they might already know majority of their squad, but like Joe said, you know, they'll be looking for that something that might just stand out for them, that potentially could, you know, give that other person an opportunity over who they thought was their safety.
Yeah.
The Māori All Blacks will also play up in Whangarei, so if you're up there or you want to head up there, get a good double header. They'll play Scotland this weekend, but they played Japan in Japan on the weekend. Half time, 17-15 to Japan, but then the second half, the Māori All Blacks just ran away with it, winning that one 53-20. Joe, your thoughts on that one?
It was a good game. I enjoyed it. I think Oatsy said last week that Japan will be up for it.
Yeah.
Even though it's their so-called B team. But they look sharp, the Japanese boys. Well, half Japanese, half Fiji, Kiwis. But yeah, the Māori looked a bit rusty, you know. That was probably to be expected. They left on
that's short
Wednesday. Had to play Saturday. Some still looked dusty, but then second half they came out and did the mahi.
Pity, your thoughts on that one and how they'll go this weekend? Because again, they've just arrived from Japan today. They've headed straight up to Whangarei and they will play this weekend.
No, I thought it was a good start, you know, just to set the tone for them. Obviously, with our bro Ross Filippo as the coach, being the ex Māoris player himself. I don't know where his Māoriness come from, but the bro's Māori.
Is that why you had a Waikago Joe?
Yeah.
But no, it was actually good
Straight
to have
from Maui.
have him in there to actually,
Hawaii.
show his style of footy. Obviously, he's been with Waikato and also the Chiefs campaign, and the style of footy that they play. So, obviously he gets his opportunity to showcase his ability to teach his coach his boys. But I think this weekend's going to be a good one for them.
Yeah.
Going up against Scotland, whether it's their full strength or not, because obviously some of them are in the British and Irish Lions. But I mean, any opportunity to be playing international teams for the Māori is always a massive and a huge feat for them. I know I think they've cut them as not tests anymore, which is teats, I reckon. But I believe that they deserve that opportunity to actually have it as a test, because you're playing some of the best countries in the world, and majority of the time, the Māori team's been pretty successful.
Yeah, that's sort of been the frustration I had when I was playing with the Māoris, is that the teams we played, they got given international caps where we didn't.
You didn't.
Like they just it felt like it was like a
They changed it. It used to be international.
Yeah.
You used to get a cap, and then they've stripped that.
How high? How come?
Kare more here. Hoha.
I do have something, but it's offline conversation.
Oh yeah, you can tell us later.
It's cool actually to have some ex Māori All Blacks on our panel, and to hear your whakaaro about your team. And everyone's said it, like the same with Otere last week, how special this team is for you guys and for us as supporters. And for me, that was a great spectacle watching the game. Seeing our Japan whānau, the way they, there was no empty seats there.
Yeah.
They were a real respectful crowd. Entertainment of rugby. It was quite a fast game, over 10 tries, just a good brand of footy. So I really enjoyed, and shout out to the boys, and and shout out to my bro too. Actually, I got to say, I watched the first half of the game, did the old check old Facebook, and I seen a status from Joe Royal.
What's he reckon?
And he reckons, jump on Whakaata Māori whānau, there's a te reo Māori commentary. So I like to shout out to the brothers, i tuku i te reo. And it was awesome to whakarongo ki te kēmu, and hear that our brothers commentate on that game. It's cool.
Now, obviously, it's been done before with Te Aorere, and he's commentated in Te Reo, but to have a dedicated channel, which was I was actually on Sky 1, but then it switched straight into I don't know, they must have been doing a collab, but it was straight on to Raniere and Mataia. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Just stick to this, and there's some funny one-liners.
No, it was cool to see, and they had the panel and the build-up, which was good. And sticking with Māori Kītao, also this weekend we saw Kara-France head over to International Fight Week for the UFC. He fought against Pantoja in Vegas for the world title, and he unfortunately lost, and Pantoja, I thought, just had a great fight plan, was outstanding. But my biggest takeaway was, I think, the whole campaign and everyone getting behind Kai and just seeing how he was all about his whakapapa and Māori Kītao and everything that he did in that space.
Yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed the whole build-up. I watched a little bit of the fight and then saw him unfortunately get submitted, but I liked the whole build-up and his messaging right before he went out to fight too was pretty awesome.
Yeah, tautoko. I'm no MMA expert.
Are you not?
I have no fight, no caps in the ring. But for myself, it was bigger than the fight.
Yeah.
And the way he carried himself and represented us was real inspiring. I watched it in my lounge room with my little nephew. He's 9 years old, Te Haiata, and he's asking questions. Is he Māori? He Māori? I was like, he Māori. And that was a win for me, inspiring my nephew that, he doesn't want to be an NRL player now. He wants to be a UFC player. So mihi ana ki te pau. And also, one thing I like to touch on too is the negativity.
Yes.
That, I was scrolling through some of the posts on his page and, what's this world come to? Like some of the negativity, the keyboard clowns.
Trolls,
Trolls.
Not warriors, they're
Not
trolls.
warriors.
Not warriors.
It's pretty buzzy to see
And disappointing to see.
yeah, it's out of it. It's like, and for most of those people, probably couldn't even do anything themselves. So just mihi to the bro, like he did us proud, and obviously he's got thick skin. Hopefully he can block all that noise out and return home and keep doing good things to our people.
Surely he gets another shot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Surely, hopefully. I guess we'll find out. Pity, your thoughts on Kai and his whole campaign and the build-up and the fight?
Oh, look, I thought it was a pretty cool little build-up to it. I will say this, that is it like a distraction? Like, obviously with all the social media side of it for him,
Yeah.
he's busy trying to do all that as well as get his training and get him mentally prepared for it. Isn't like a distraction. Obviously, with rugby, we always talked about the distractions and the outside noise playing that part, and how do we sort of focus or get ourselves focused, especially around go time. Like obviously you do your prep in the changing room and things like that. So I was just thinking maybe if anything, when he has flown under the radar, the man's he does his prep, but he flies under the radar and goes pretty hard and pretty mean. So I'm not taking it away from him and just, the build-up and all that was mean for him, but like I watch some of them and like feel like maybe sometimes some of that social media stuff is more of a distraction than it is to help, for his prep. But I mean, I'm never going to get in the ring. I did try my best to get in 1 year, and then just grateful that the knee caved and I was sacking it. I'm not going to lie. I would have been the first round, if it wasn't going to plan, I would have told the bro, chuck the towel in, cuz.
And I think another positive from that was all the Māori who we did see travel and support Kai. And I saw some people who'd never been to a UFC event before, and they went to Vegas flying the Tino Rangatira flag, and they said they loved it now and they're big fans of the sport. So I think just opening it up in that way as well. And then I'm not sure if you saw it on his stories early this morning, but the after party, Shaq was the DJ.
Yeah.
Kai's there, Izzy was there, the Volk was there. So, I mean, yeah, obviously it didn't go his way, but a lot of positives to take out of it, for sure.
For sure.
I'm sure they would have partied hard in Vegas.
Hey,
Those are the big occasions, then. So for him getting that experience to finally have a crack for a belt, you can only learn from it. Big occasion, you've got to try and figure out what went wrong and then try and make a plan for the next opportunity you get. And obviously got to go back to mahi and fight to get your way back into that or get that opportunity. So pretty sure the bro will learn from this and be a bit more prepared in terms of the hype of everything and making sure that he gets the job done.
I've got a partai for you, bro, and one thing I did feel watching that fight was like the tension. Like I couldn't imagine the amount of pressure that was on both fighters, and you've felt that pressure as an athlete at the highest level in World Cups. What are some of the tools you use, bro, just to block that noise out?
It's a bit different. Like you're in the ring by yourself.
Yeah.
You've got no one, to back you up. So you've got to go in there with a plan. Whereas with rugby, from the World Cup, I didn't really feel too much pressure. I think it was different because we had a social media ban in 2011.
Really?
Like none of our boys were allowed on Facebook, on their Twitter accounts, or anything in 2011. So we weren't distracted. You know, the only time I would actually feel distracted is when the whānau sends me articles and things like that. I'm like, bro, I don't want that rubbish.
Yeah.
I don't need to read what people write about me. I mean, we're doing our thing to try and be mentally prepared. So, you know, I thought for us, I thought that not allowing us to be on social media, like our own personal ones, was a huge thing to help us out. And obviously it all changed 2015 and so on. But
True. So that's the secret, eh?
So
I think it was just to eliminate all the distractions, you know, the outside noise. I mean,
noise, yeah.
you know what we're like these days? Everyone's on social media. You know, getting a quick grab or reading a little comment from here and there, you know, little stuff like that. So, yeah, we're pretty lucky. The only social media we were allowed to use was the AB's account. Silly kids should never fucking put that on my Twitter account. You see you tweeting away on the All Blacks, on the unlucky you.
Are you blaming the white bait that Beef brought in for those penalties you missed in the final?
Never, my bro.
Hey.
Nah, that was the only pressure I had was leading into the semi-final and final. Smithy was giving me the look of, boy, you better take this kicking goals seriously, because I never practiced. I had the mentality that all I needed to, because I figured out from my kicking coach, I don't need to practice during the week, because then that's just a fight that I have with myself mentally, and I don't need that stress. So,
you had some mean kickers back then anyway, until they got injured. And yet,
hard. That's why I was like, use me if you need me. I mean, there's other fellas there, bro.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams will actually struggle with that this day and age. They'd actually have to talk to each other. You walk into a team room now, everyone's on their phones.
Like, I'll tell you what. We did that at Quad last week.
Yeah, how did it go?
Well, day one, it was good. Like, boys were focused and things like that. Gave them the phone. They obviously got bulleted up, and we got some good feedback from all the host families about our boys and all that. It's because they actually had to look up and make conversations.
Yeah.
Stuff that they weren't used to. Like, we said to them, look, this is going to be an opportunity for you. You never know. The person you're staying with now, you might bump into them later on in life, or if you go to university down here, you know, you've got a bro that you can always message and be like, bro, is that us catch up for a coffee or something like that, or white people, whatever they say, you know. But it was good. We got good feedback from it, and we felt that the boys were actually more concentrated on what we needed them to be concentrated on. Only gave them the phone the day of the game for about an hour, and then took it off them, and then they just got on with trying to focus for the game, and it was huge.
Mate, that's like with our club team. I'm like 20 years older than everyone else in my team, but pre-game they're just scrolling, swiping. I'm trying to talk to them, and then they've got their headphones on, nothing. So I was like, just carry on getting strapped. But you want to have a conversation with them just so you're relaxed and not having to be on your phone, or you just go into a game nice and relaxed without having to that pressure of having to worry about someone else. So.
Or being in your own head, eh?
Yeah.
Sticking with the fight game, in Auckland on the weekend, there was a BX9 boxing series, and Titus Proctor fought. We spoke about him on the podcast before, and Uppy, you'd love to get him on the Sharpen Up podcast fan. Because he is just, he was incredible. He had a dominant win, but he's a Muay Thai world champ, 11 times New Zealand kickboxing champion. Naireen Crowley was one of 4 wahine fights on the card. Francis Waitai won the unanimous decision after 10 rounds. But I think the standout for you, Uppy, was Titus Proctor.
Yeah, big fan. Have you seen him fight?
No, send us the
link.
link.
You seen him fight,
send us a link to some.
Nah, cool.
No, you can go on all the footage is on the BX9 series on Insta, but he is just...
He's a young up-and-comer.
Yeah.
I've watched him live once. He beat our captain, Sam Parks.
Oh, he beat Parksy.
Yeah. And since then I've sort of followed him, and he jumped into the boxing room and clearly knocked this guy out. Just such a talent. And when you watch someone, you're like, I wonder where he's off to.
Yeah.
So he's the type of guy. I've watched him a couple of years ago.
Jump on and have a look.
Titus Proctor. Keep an eye out for that young kid, whānau.
Absolutely. Hopefully we get him on. Pity, while we have you, we haven't spoken to you about the All Blacks and your thoughts on them.
I was hoping that maybe a couple players would have made it. I thought one in particular in Kara should have made the team. His work rate off the ball, not only that, he's creating opportunities as well, and just his energy. Like, for someone to come into Super for the first time like that and make a huge impact, I thought that he deserved that opportunity to be in the squad and learn.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was Tawatawa Nawai, who got his opportunity. It's interesting to see how they'll use him.
12 or wing.
Wing, or whether they put him into the midfield. I know he was pretty solid for the Highlanders, and when he moved into the midfield, kind of reminds me of Bortia, who's plays for La Rochelle and Fiji as well, who can go and play 7 because he's pretty solid over the ball. Hates a carry. So, all that kind of stuff we thoroughly enjoys to mix it up. Just happy that Duplessis finally got
yes.
That was
his
my one.
opportunity. Probably one of the form 7s of the comp. And for him to finally get his opportunity, I know he got called into the squad late last year around India tour, but to finally get his name read out in the initial squad is massive. But all in all, I thought the squad was pretty solid. It'll be interesting to see what they do with D-Mac and Bodie, whether they go with that 15-10 combination or if we stick to an actual 15 and try and use both of them as with their impact that they can bring into a game, especially sort of in the later stages of a test. Some teams probably leave their forwards out there a bit longer than they should, so bringing them on with fresh legs and obviously they're watching from the sideline how they've sort of been defending, seeing those opportunities, and hopefully you can exploit them. So that'll be an interesting one too.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard to leave Will Jordan out of the 15 jersey. Like he was unreal in that final and mean like all season. So I like your idea, pal, of having just keep them at 10. If it's the Kraua or the Master starting, Bodie can break them down and you just bring on D-Mac and you can see what he can do in open space. So yeah, I like the idea of having those two at 10. Keep Will at the back and then...
Yeah. And how are we feeling for the test against France?
Should be good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty excited. I mean, obviously this is to get a gauge on the style of footy they want to play.
Yeah.
Whether they want to play the same style or they want to make a few tweaks in terms of their structure and the style of which they want to play. And then hopefully they can be a lot more solid around their defence so that they don't, concede more points or line breaks. So, this is obviously the first crack that they get before they crack into, playing against the likes of Argentina, Australia and that. And the MIA nation of Super Rugby, the Springboks.
Pity, I've just remembered why you've probably joined us. It's because your hoiho got a win on the weekend over the Waz, bro.
There it is.
Impeccable timing, my brother. 26 to 12.
I've just remembered
One
something.
all now. Hey, 1-1.
But they were very good on the weekend. But unfortunately for the Warriors, they lost Metcalf and Chance Nickel-Cook with both knee injuries, possibly an ACL to Metcalf. We don't know right now. But it also brings up... Oh, and also from Shibasaki, who's been called into the Queensland squad after that game against the Warriors. But... wasn't there a bet that you two had up
Yeah,
there?
there was. Sorry about that.
He knows. He
You
knows.
almost forgot it, Alex. I haven't forgotten it. I just, obviously, I'm not at home. But I haven't forgot about our bet that we made round one.
Yeah.
So I'll still honour that, my mate.
Cheer, my bro. Looking forward to the decider.
Yes.
Just before I get into the Origin, watch the Waz game. Those injuries are, I guess people will be nervous.
Yeah.
But I did see some highlights of the New South Wales Cup game, and Tain Tuopiki had a blinder.
Yes.
And we're lucky we got a lot of cover in those positions. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's not ACL for the Bros, and we see them back towards the business end of the season.
It'd be good, like you said, the New South Wales Cup. It'll be awesome to see Tanner Boyd get a go.
Yes.
Because I know he could have easily gone back to Aussie.
Yes.
But he's decided to stay on for another year.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Warriors can put him in and see how he goes, I think he's a pretty good player, pretty sharp.
Yeah,
Did
I
well
agree.
for the Titans when he was there.
Yeah. And speaking of knee injuries and just some local stuff, Uppy, you played some local league on the weekend.
Yeah, I had a bit of a
Caught it all
game.
my.
Not trying to play 13 in the middle. and then our centre got injured, so I was I can play in the centres too, and try to do a bit of a goosey, and then oof, medial gone. Back
So
on the sideline.
Good start to your 75 hard.
Yeah. So, I had this plan, Fano, to get fit. Hey, start of the year, and I'm 1 week into my 75 hard, and I can say I'm pretty much
Still going?
Yeah, still going.
Just all upper body now.
Yeah. But yeah.
Does this mean that your Sky Blue days are done for the season too?
Oh, no, we got about... we've
Just
had
in
that
time,
discussion.
you reckon? Reckons he's just in time.
Impeccable timing. Should be good for round one.
He'll miss 2 pre-seasons and in round 1.
Well, it's almost time to wrap up. We'll get into our our sharpen up moments of the week, but just some other local stuff. The Māori Rugby League have their Taina tournament 13 and 14s, and they're doing a call out for any refs. Is it Uppy?
Yeah, so there's a shortage of refs for our Aotearoa Māori Rugby League whānau. Over 30 teams, I think, in each grade. Big mihi to our Māori Rugby League whānau who run those kaupapa all throughout the year. So, and be good to see some of our young boys get a crack.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My sharp as moment for the week is Zoe Hobbs. She broke the New Zealand Oceania 100 metre record again. Went under 11 seconds. So it's great to see her doing that. So a big mihi to the sis. And then my sharpen up moment, I mean, I don't know if I really want to mention it, but it was the run it straight. If you saw it with Kevy Proctor and Jordan Simi. And it's just horrible to see. Yeah, knocked out. And I think with Kevy having been a professional for so long against Jordan Simi, who, I don't know, is he an influencer these days? But it's obviously a big body and has played sport. But yeah, just to see that was my sharpen up moment, because you never want to see that ever.
Thought he might have thrown his shoulder in there.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty scary to see.
Yeah,
It was. Who's next?
Well, I only got a sharp as moment.
Okay.
And it's another great positive way to start the new year.
Can't wait.
And it's having our super sub and our host, So yeah, no sharpen up moment this week.
Nice.
Just a sharp as moment to everybody on today.
Me.
And sorry, a bit of a present here from Jordan
Oh,
for your young fella.
Che, Mickey.
Nice. It's
from New Zealand.
Magpies
Little magpies.
jersey from
Yeah.
Jordan to Joe.
Sorry, I had a couple of chocolates, bro.
And some chocolate.
Is that on the 75 harder?
There's your koha super sub.
Oh, I've been waiting for something like that.
Joe, you got any sharp as or sharpen up moments?
Sharp hairs moments. We spoke about it before. The Māori commentary.
Yes.
So big mihi to the bros out there that did the Māori commentary. It was just a breath of fresh air to hear that on mainstream TV. Sharpen up moment. I'm gonna hoki ngā mahara to the game that Otsi was talking about. It was a funny story when we presented Munster with that jersey.
Yes.
And so the whole, like Otsi was right. We wanted to do something for the team, for their coach who passed away, and what we thought was right was like, oh, we'll present it on the field, and so what happened is Ash went out, and then there was myself, Matty Proctor, and Tim Bateman. We thought, oh, we'll go out with the captain. We could see their faces. We're like, hey, what are these fellas up to? Like ready for, I don't know, for something. And then we laid the jersey, and you could see the initials, and then the expressions changed from like, what are these fellas up to a bit of a serious, sad moment. And what we thought was a good gesture turned into a bit of a hiding. So Munster, yeah, I think what we did there is that we gave Munster the mana.
Yeah.
Too much mana, and they ended up beating us that night. And so that was my sharpen up moment back then. Yeah.
Maybe for after the game.
Yeah, we all thought about it in the change room. It was like, yeah, we should have just given it to them in the aftermatch.
Nicey. And to bring us home, bro, that's on you, Petty. What do you got?
Oh, obviously sharp as moments this weekend coming. Actually, I'm going to be up in Rotorua for the tournament.
Oh,
sure.
Nice.
Got my son and my nephews and all that playing in the under-13s Ngāhau Whāwani Mata team.
Oh, yeah.
And then obviously the sharpen up moment is I need to get away from coaching my kids.
How many kids you got?
We're basketball, netball, flag. I'm over it.
Take your whistle and you can umpire or ref this weekend, and then you won't have to.
Just jump on your boat, Kel, go for a ride.
Your air points must be ticking
too
over.
much running these days.
The Koru club is ticking over.
Going up to their tournament, their tournaments, I love their tournament. Just the amount of talent on display.
Yeah.
Not only over here in Aotearoa, but the teams that come over from Ahitereiria, showing that same love and passion for who they are. To be Māori and be proud of it. It's always special to be there. Just hopefully Api hasn't poached any of our kids from Wellington again.
No.
The tono's gone out already.
They will be there, sharp and ready.
Oh, I love it. Well, a big thank you to our guest, Stacey Waaka, for joining us on today's episode, and best wishes to the Sis and the Black Ferns, but also the Māori All Blacks, the All Blacks, everyone else playing this weekend. Thank you to our super sub, Joe. And
Show
Petty for joining us.
Show number 3, pal.
Thank you to our sponsors, Beard Brothers and Groove Bar. And to all our listeners, thank you so much. And ka kite.
Awesome.
Che.
Che. Ngā mihi.
Sure.